What's going on, guys? So if you saw my last update video on the Miata, I basically said that I ordered a new radiator, fans, radiator hoses, and a water pump and timing belt kit for this car. And now in the next couple of videos, I'm going to be throwing all that on. So as of right now, it is Tuesday, March 20th, and as of right now, I do not have the radiator, the fan shroud, or the hoses because those are all coming from Mishimoto. I only have the water pump and timing belt kit. So with that being said, my goal today is going to be removing all the shit that needs to be taken off in order to start installing this. So thankfully, in order to do the water pump and timing belt, you need to take off the radiator and fans. I don't think you necessarily have to, but it makes the entire process much easier. Yeah, let's go ahead, jack the car up, and get started. I don't know if I showed you guys this before, but my dad actually made this really nice jack mount, whatever you want to call it, for when you jack up Miatas, because like his Miata and mine, when you jack it up, it's weird. There's like this little, it's going to be hard to show, but this like line right here that you kind of just use that and push the car up. So this goes right in between there and then helps alleviate some of the pressure on this little line or crevice or whatever you want to call it right there. So pretty cool, and it's very helpful and useful. Alright guys, so since I last filmed, I now have Josh helping me film, thankfully, to make this a lot easier, but I have taken off the air tube right here, whatever you want to call it, the intake thing. And now we're going to take off this first radiator hose and then work on the other radiator hoses as well, and we can see which one broke. I'm 99% sure it's not this one. I think it's one of the two that's under the car. So we encountered a little problem here with the fans and the radiator. If you guys remember, these fans are not factory fans. These are some sort of aftermarket fans, and for each fan, there should be one connector that I have to unplug. So I unplugged both of those, or one for each fan, but there's still a couple extra wires that are running down to the fan. So this is just part of this ghetto rig that, I mean, it just bothers me. I still think that this is the true problem. So we're just gonna cut these last couple wires because we shouldn't need them with the new radiator anyways. Yeah, there we go. Cut them good. Alright, so I just got the radiator and fans out. You guys couldn't see earlier, but there's the two wires that I was talking about, the blue and black wires that were kind of just extra wires. I'm not really sure what their purpose was, but there's the radiator and fans. Now we've got a whole lot more room here. I think the next thing is to take this off, and I'm not entirely sure, but whatever you guys see me doing next is the next step, so let's get to it.
Well, like this, I push on this and this to like lever it up.
Oh shit, nice dude.
Oh, that took a lot of muscle right there, holy
Nice,
shit.
dude. So here's the valve cover. So this right here is the valve cover gasket, which we'll need to take off. I think this was leaking a little bit because this side right here, well, it's mostly greased from my hands now, but down over here by the exhaust, you can see it looks like there's a little bit of oil kind of leaking out. Well, that's all filthy now too, but beforehand there was just a little bit of residue. It almost looked like it was leaking out onto the exhaust manifold, which obviously isn't good. So yeah, so we got a new one of those that came with the timing belt kit. So I guess now we're gonna have to start taking off all this stuff on the front, and then this is the timing belt right here, obviously. So yeah, this should be fun. We've got to loosen this up to get the belt off. I believe this is a power steering, what's its face, to get that belt off. And we're going to do the same to the alternator over here to get that belt off. And I'll catch up with you guys after that. fast forward a few hours. I took a nap and a lunch break, but I just got the two belts off. If you're wondering how to loosen the belts, there's a mechanism like this on both the power steering. I believe this is a power steering. I apologize if I'm wrong. Power steering pulley, and then one also back behind the alternator right there. Kind of difficult to see from here. And now we're going to take off the harmonic damper, and then this thing down here, or these two things right here we're going to take off, which are 10mm bolts. So let's get to it. One more thing, when you do take off these right here, you do want to have the car in 5th gear, so that way it's much easier to loosen and the car doesn't, or the crank just doesn't keep turning and turning when you try to loosen it. So just a helpful tip, make sure the car is in gear. It'll make it a lot easier. So now next thing we want to do is go ahead and remove all 4 spark plugs, and then after that we'll just have a couple little more things to do before we can take off the timing belt. Alright guys, so another quick update. I'm sorry I haven't shown a whole lot of what I just did, but basically what you want to do after you take your spark plugs out is stick a long, clean screwdriver or something long enough that'll go all the way down to touch the cylinder head in here. And what you're going to do is use I think it's a 21mm nut to rotate or crank the engine until this screwdriver comes all the way up and stops at its highest position. So that way the cylinder one is what's called top dead center or something like that. And then you need to lock the engine there. So there's a couple ways you could do this. One way is by using a tool from Flying Miata that goes between the cam gears and locks them. I don't have that. And another ingenious way is to use 2 wrenches and just kind of fit it around these sockets here, and then use a vice grip to hold them together, so now the engine is essentially locked in place. So I disconnected these couple hoses that connect to the thermostat here, and there's just a couple other small things that we got to do before we take the timing belt off, so we'll do those, and I think that'll be it for this video, because I just want to, for this video I'm just going to do the teardown, and then next video I'll probably put it all back together. Well guys, if I'm being honest, getting this freaking bolt off here was probably the most traumatizing thing I have ever done in my life. I have spent the past hour and a half trying to get this shit off, and finally I got it off. So thank the sweet Lord above, because I was about to just give up.
Oh shit.
Well guys, that is going to do it for this video. So for reference, I have completely taken off everything that needs to be taken off in order to do this. So starting in the next video, which won't be today, I'll probably start putting everything back on tomorrow. What we're first going to do is start by taking off some of the seals, like down around here. All these gaskets I kind of just left on. I just wanted to get everything off for now. And yeah, so as you can see, I mean, this thing is pretty much completely torn apart. I mean, it's kind of cool to see the motor like this, because you can see just how small this engine actually is. I mean, my hand down here for reference, this motor is no wider than my hand, which I just think is really cool. But anyways, I could stare at this thing all day. I just think it's super cool. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. You can see all the shit I've taken off. Some of it's right here. Got some more of it scattered around over here. It's going to wrap up this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're excited to see this all get back together, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time.